guests of UHS staff, and all watching at home. My name is Linda Williams. I am the publicist of the My School Votes and History Club here at UHS. I also will be your hostess for today. We would like to begin by hearing a few words from our esteemed guests. I would like to start by welcoming our Mayor, Manuel Figueroa.
But what a great day for all of you here at Union High School. Linda, thank you for the introduction. Nice meeting you. Thank you for the invite. And it's exciting. I'm not going to be here 50 years from now to open this. I know I won't because I'm an older human being. But how exciting that you're preparing for a future generation to have memories of what you're presenting to them, what we're dealing with right now, what you want them to remember from your time here at Union High School and in Uniontown. So I congratulate all of you. Mr. Erdman, thank you for this initiative and doing this, and we'll pass it back to you, Linda. Thank you. Looking forward to putting this in the ground, and maybe for those of you in the future, enjoy it in 50.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Next, we would like to invite our Superintendent of Union School, Dr. Scott Taylor, to say a few words.
I actually started my career as a high school English teacher, which is one reason why you see me here a lot, because you're my fave. I like Utah High School. You're one of my faves. But as I got older, I started to realize how much history was a part of me too, and how important it was. And I think what today is about is recognizing that what's in that time capsule is part of our identity. And as we get older, as I'm getting older, I'm recognizing even more that my identity is shaped by my history, but not so much by like national history or state history as much as local history. I was born in New York City, and while I don't think they have too many time capsules in the Bronx where I was a kid, I do go back from time to time, and I like to see the old building I lived in. It was one of those old tall places, and the old grocery store and the old school. I went to PS 95 when I was an elementary student. And it makes me think about who I am today, how much I've grown, how much I should still be changing and growing. And I'm hoping 50 years from now, when you unearth the time capsule, if you're here, and I hope you are, you deserve to come back in 50 years, because if you're the ones who are actually burying the capsule, you should be unburying it, unearthing it. I'm hoping that something in it triggers you and makes you think about who you are right now and who you'll be 50 years down the road, how much you've changed, and also how much you think you need to keep changing. That's why history to me is so important. That's why I love history. And like the mayor, I may not be walking on this earth in 50 years unless they come up with some magic drug that elongates life beyond 103. So if you do the math, now you know how old I am. But just knowing that you're a part of it really warms my heart. So thank you for inviting me to this, which is probably going to be the highlight of my week, being the history buff I am, and loving all of you the way I love you all. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Taylor. Next, I would like to welcome our principal, Mr. Mark Hoyt, to say a few words.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Mr. Erdman, for organizing this. I know 4 years from now, there's another capsule that will be unearthed in 4 years, which is very exciting as well. So I need your help in convincing Mr. Erdman to stay to unearth this one. We had a brief conversation this morning, so we need 4 more years out of him. You're all very convincing, so please do your best for Mr. Erdman. I want to thank you all for adding your own personal touch to Union High School. I've said before that this high school belongs to you guys. We're running it and trying to make program changes and whatever, but it's your school, and I want you to leave your mark on it like you have here. And 50 years from now, when your children and possibly your grandchildren even, I suppose, come back to this, you can say that you've left your mark on the high school, which is, I think, something that we all hope to do. So thank you, Mr. Erdman. Thanks to all of you. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Mr. Hoyt. Next, we would like to ask for our Supervisor of Social Studies, Mr. Robert Goretti, to say a few words.
Thanks, Linda. Thanks, Mr. Erdman. 4 years, I think we got a shot, guys, for coming back. Last night when Mr. Erdman said, hey, maybe you can say a few words, I started looking around the house. My wife said, what are you doing? I said, I'm looking for a prop. So I brought one. I'm not giving it to you. But it's actually a baseball from 1974. And I grew up in Union. And in 1974, I'll spend 2 seconds on my glory days of Little League. We won the town championship, which was a big deal in 1974. And we signed a ball for my dad, who was the coach. But the reason why I brought it is because something historical took place in 1974. That was the year that 2 girls from town petitioned to play Little League Baseball with the boys. And there was such an uproar about that they almost canceled the season because they didn't want the 2 girls to play. They let the 2 girls play. They played the season. We won the championship. And the reason why I bring it up is because, probably speaking to anybody under the age of 30, 40, it sounds ancient that girls and boys couldn't play sports together. So history happens every day and rules change every day, most of the time for the better. So I brought that just to let you know, whatever you're putting in there might seem kind of weird in 50 years to think they did that in 2022, but they wouldn't let girls play baseball in 1974, and now they do. So, you know, it's history in the making. So thanks for having me.
Thank you, Mr. Goretti. Next, we would like to welcome the President of the Union Township Historical Society, Mrs. Barbara Lamort.
Thank you. Thank you, Linda, Amarachi, Faith, and Mr. Erdman for organizing this event. The reason this date was chosen, in case some of you don't know, is because it's the anniversary of the Battle of Connecticut Farms. Union used to be called Connecticut Farms. That's one reason your high school mascot is the Farmers. And that battle, although the textbooks don't give it credit, was one of the turning points of the American Revolution. Because after that battle and the Battle of Springfield, 16 days later, no more major battles of the American Revolution were fought in the North. And the Caldwell Parsonage, which is the home of the Union Township Historical Society, has put some items in the capsule. One of them is a trading card which depicts the Battle of Connecticut Farms. So 50 years in the future, hopefully they'll be talking about that battle still. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mrs. Lamort. Next, I would like to welcome back our club advisor, Mr. Don Erdman, to say a few words.
First off, I'd like to really thank everybody for coming out today. We and the club members appreciate it. Mr. Hoyt referenced the time capsule that's going to be unearthed in 4 years. That was first encapsulated, I guess, 1976, which was my graduating year. So, like you said, God willing and the creek don't rise, I'd like to come back for that one being unearthed. But just a little history about our time capsule, that stainless steel one. It really is the effort of 2 classes, These young ladies sitting over here on the end of the bench are from the class of 2020, who first had this vision and actually raised the funds to buy that capsule. But unfortunately, the rug got pulled out from under them due to the pandemic, and everything just stopped. And that sat in my closet for a couple of years until these guys came along and said, hey, let's do something with this. So this is more than the work of one class. These guys raised the funds selling cookies for the plaque that we're going to unveil, and they did a heck of a job, you know. They really pushed me to keep it going. So I love the way that it's a joint effort of two classes coming together to do this, and I really appreciate you guys coming back to see it come to fruition and everybody coming here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Erdman. We now want to invite some of our club leaders from the My School Votes Club and the History Club to say a few words. First up, we have the president of the History Club, Amarachi.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome. My name is Amarachi Abera, and I am the president of the History Club here at Union High School. We are gathering here today for an exciting event, the burial of our time capsule. Today, June 7th, marks the 242nd anniversary of the Battle of Connecticut Farms, one of the last major battles of the American Revolution. Unfortunately, not that many people know that. That's the thing about history. It can easily be forgotten, especially in the chaos of our daily lives. But we can't allow that to happen. Take Union High School, for instance. Think of how many students have walked through these very halls. Imagine the unique lives that they lived that we won't know anything about because no one cared to remember them. Don't get me wrong, it's impossible to remember everybody's story, but that doesn't mean we can't try. Each generation's experience is bound to be different from the last, and trying to understand those differences with just a few sentences in a textbook is pointless. My generation, for example, is going to be remembered as the children who grew up during a pandemic, as the kids who had the entire world shut down on them. But we know that's not all we are. Shouldn't we get to choose what represents our lives? Wouldn't you want to say in how you're remembered, to be able to leave a unique mark on the world? That's the idea we had when we decided to bury this capsule. We wanted to show future generations what matters to us, what we're willing to fight for. Knowing your history is important, but it's even more important to learn from it. The goal of our species is to make each generation better and safer than the last, to pass the torch of knowledge and hope that the people who succeed us do a better job than we did. We need them to remember that no matter how scared or uncertain their future may be, we all have the power to make a difference. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Amarachi. Next, I would like to introduce a person who brought a new club to our school this year called My School Votes. They have put a mark on the school by helping seniors register to vote. So at this time, I would like to introduce not only the president of the My School Votes Club, but my best friend since first grade, Faith Cardillo.
Good morning, everyone. I wanted to take a moment to thank you all for attending the time capsule burial this morning. I also wanted to introduce myself. My name is Faith Cardillo, and I am the president and founder of the My School Votes Club here at Union High School. For those who do not know much about the My School Votes organization, My School Votes is a nonpartisan organization that focuses on registering youth voters and increasing turnout in elections. When people discuss voting, we automatically assume we are referring to the national level. Generally speaking, most people view their vote as insignificant. However, the power of voting is universal, especially on the local level. In terms of something easier to grasp, federal officials only provide around 10% of school funding and do not set school curriculums. In contrast, state officials provide around 30% of the funding, and local governments provide the rest, adding up to around 50%. In the end, it is the local government that ultimately decides the standards and curriculums for school. Voting in local elections has a lasting impact on the community, which is why we are leaving our mark through this time capsule here today. Throughout the uncertainty of the world, we've added items that resemble the world around us. whether it was music, face masks, vaccine card holders, social movements, and other notable items. Whether it's voting or bringing the community together for a time capsule, it is on us to leave our mark on the world around us. And also, today is the New Jersey primary, so make sure for who all are able to vote and are eligible to vote, keep checking your eligibility, make sure that is valid, and go out and vote today. Thank you.
Thank you, Faith. At this time, we would like to show you guys the plaque that we have raised money for. It will be being revealed by one of our club members, Alexa Amaya.